Welcome to the New Author Podcast, a weekly podcast diary starring Jerry Evanoff and Rich Kacy. Join them weekly as they talk about writing, publishing, and marketing their books. And now, here are your hosts.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the New Author Podcast. Today is Wednesday, a fun Wednesday show, June 25th, 2025. This is episode number 315. I am one of the hosts of this podcast, Jerry Evanoff, and with me, as he is each week, is Rich Kacy. And Rich, I could literally fall asleep right now if I wanted to. How are you doing?
I'm doing better because I've had like 4 or 5 cups of coffee this afternoon. So I'll probably be up until like 2 or 3 in the morning.
I'm doing my best. I got
yeah.
sugar. So
That's the next best thing. Yeah, sugar and caffeine together.
Yeah.
I kind of sticking away from the sugar. Actually, you know what I would really love to do on this Riverside is be able to get rid of my pictures so I don't have to keep on glancing because it keeps on catching my eye. I'm looking down at myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I've got you over the top of me back. I don't think I can get rid of it without actually just exiting out of the whole thing. So
I don't know.
Bug.
I'm sure
it's a bug.
I think you can move stuff around in here somewhere. I don't know what controls you have.
Yeah.
I have no idea. So if you want to fool with it while I'm talking, go ahead.
Wait a second. Yeah, wait, let me try this. Follow host view. Nope.
There you go.
That just switched us. That didn't work.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow. I'll figure it out later.
Technology makes everything easier.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, let me jump into my stats from last week. I have some fun stuff to talk about from that happened in the last 6 days, including the fact that I couldn't hear out of my right ear on Monday, which is why I didn't podcast. It's still there. I can hear it better. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I thought I knew what was going on, but I actually don't know what's going on. It's very strange. Maybe I'm just going deaf.
Tammy's had that a number of times in the past, and she was total sympathy because she says it's the most annoying thing ever.
It is annoying
to suddenly go from stereo to mono.
Exactly. Yeah. And with me, over the past like 20 years, maybe once a year, it hasn't happened in a while, but maybe once a year, this side clogs up. So I can't hear it all here. And then it slowly moves to where both sides are clogged up for a day or so. I can't hear it all. And then it moves to this side and this is clogged up. I'm back to here. And then it's gone and everything's back to normal. But this time it's just this side. And when I tried to use the earwax, I don't know, graphic, the earwax stuff, you put the drops in it and you can hear it breaking up in your head. You can hear the wax breaking up. I can't hear that. So like, is there none in there? Like I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know. All right. Well, let me jump into my stats here. I had a goal of 3,000 words over the weekend, basically Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday that we were going to podcast on Monday. I blew that goal out of the water. I got 4,443 words. We'll call that a success. And then in the last 2 days, I've written one more time. So I got 1,001 words there. So I'm up to 5,444 since the last time we spoke 6 days ago. So I feel really good about that. Book 8 is actually up those 5,444 words to 31,987 words. I have 2 chapters to go before I call it finished. I think I talked last week about maybe not finishing all the chapters,
right?
But I think I'm going to. I think I'm actually going to. I have 2 left. I know what one of them is going to be. I'll talk about the other one later. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do it. We'll see. For the year, I did cross into 6 figures, 101,886. And I will say I am glad that I postponed it by a day because if I hadn't, my number would have been 100,885, which again doesn't really roll off the tongue. I needed that 101 in there to make it sound better. So so that means I have like 43,000 some change left for book 9 in order to make my 145. But if I don't make the 145, but I do finish book 9, I'm calling it a success anyway. I don't care. I tried to estimate how many words each book would have to get to that 9. So it's going to be a success regardless. Yeah. Either finish book 9, which I will, or get to 145. So.
Nice.
My words per hour is actually going down. It went down 3 to 1,283. And I am not surprised about that. I left out the word not there in the outline. I'm not surprised about that. But I'll tell you later. Here's my tease. I will tell you later why it's a good thing.
Okay.
Because it really is.
A little foreshadowing here.
Yeah.
Me, I didn't think I would get a whole lot of writing done, and I didn't. In fact, I fell way short of even the goal of 3,000 words that I thought I would match you with. But I did get 1,251 words on the Cozy Mystery 2, and that story is up to 6,315. And my total words for the year is 132,256 words of a 200,000 word goal. So didn't really have much. I only had one day, as we'll see later, where I actually wrote anything. And part of that's on me, part of that's on the job. But yeah, I'll talk about that later.
Okay. All right, so getting into my recap again from the last time we talked, which was last Thursday, 6 days ago. On Friday, I did work from home all day. I did play some of my golf game on my lunch break. And then after work, I literally did nothing. I ate some dinner and just kind of sat on the couch until it was time for bed because I was getting up early for golf.
I've decided that doing nothing is actually doing something because you have to make the active choice to do nothing.
True.
So,
right, I don't want to make it sound like I was, solving the world's problems. I was literally doing nothing, but I guess that is doing something in reality. Yeah.
Now, I'm reading, as you will note later, a book by Ryan Holiday called Stillness is the Way or something like that. I can't remember the title even, but it would wholeheartedly endorse the fact of you just not doing anything.
Really? Ooh.
Yeah.
Sounds like my kind of book. What's her name? James Blatch and Claire did a podcast about writing more by writing less or something like that. Either last week or the week before last. It was pretty interesting. It was kind of the same kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, that's what got me on the. I don't know if I was talking about this last time we met or not, but that's what got me on the Cal Newport kick again to try to find his new book, which I have sitting over next to my Lazy Boy that I'm going to start because he's a big proponent of deep thinking and deep work. And just in a period of supposedly, now I don't know if this is really true, but supposedly he's a professor at Georgetown and he supposedly does all his work in 3 hours a day.
They talked about that. That was the author they referenced in the podcast.
Right.
That was that Cal Newport. Yeah.
And that's just by shutting out all the other distractions and just focusing on one thing.
I will say that I would call that hogwash. If I don't want to get too, I want to say PG here. Although, with what I'm going to talk about here on Saturday, maybe there's something to it. Yeah.
Although I can attest, having been in that academic environment myself for 25 years, that you can get your work done in 3 hours. Definitely.
Yeah. Right.
Because you don't have that much work to do.
Right. It's nice.
Yeah.
All right. So Saturday, I was up early in the morning. It was a 5 a.m. alarm clock. Golf was 6:40 a.m. It had rained really hard the previous 2 days. It was cart path only. I was tired. It's going to be a lot of walking. There's going to be no roll anywhere on the ball because it's going to hit the ground and just stick. So me and Dave got there. We decided to play from the white tees. The white tees are 5,800 yards compared to the men's tees that are 6,500 yards. And I went out and shot a 79. I've never shot below 80 before.
Wow.
So getting a 79 was really, I was to the point where I needed a 6 on the last hole to get 79, which is what I got.
Apparently that roll is actually hurting you.
I think it might be. It probably rolls into bad spots or something.
Right.
Yeah, I was having a good time. I was hitting shots like crazy, and everything I was doing was
what this says is you need to play the whole course with irons so you can get some backspin on the ball.
No. I don't play with irons.
Oh.
I have a 7 hybrid and a 9 hybrid, so I don't have to use like a 7 iron and an 8 iron. I don't like irons.
Oh, you don't use the low irons at all?
No, God, no. Oh no.
Okay.
No. Those are I don't even own a 4 iron or 5.
Those were my favorite. Actually, my favorite was the 2 iron, and probably next would be the 5 iron.
Yeah, I can't do those clubs. Yeah. So it was great. I had a good time. We got done pretty quick too. And then I on the way there, I'd been kicking around this idea of coming home and then trying to write at home and not going anywhere. I've tried this before. It's failed miserably each time. So what I did is I got home this time. This is something I had done on a Friday a couple weeks ago on my lunch break, and it worked pretty well. But this is going to be one of those things where I don't have anything to get to. I have the whole day, and if I want to mess around with something, I can do that. And then I'll just keep putting it off. I'll write later.
Yeah.
But this time I actually sat down and wrote, and I didn't put the number in there because I didn't want to spoil it. I actually sat down. I put SiriusXM 80s on 8 on my computer on my laptop, and then I opened everything sitting where I'm sitting. So the laptop's right here, and then the big monitor is over here. So I opened everything on the big monitor like normal, and I sat there for 135 minutes, and I wrote 2,739.
Wow.
Which is, I'm just looking briefly through. That is the most I've gotten in one day since I got 398 words on April 19th. So like that was that was a big deal. And I felt really good about it. I didn't expect it, but I was just going and going and listening to the music. I had golf on my TV, but it was muted. And this microphone, there's a camera here. It's kind of in front of the TV anyway. But every now and then I'd peek up at it. It was almost like a welcome distraction every 5 to 10 minutes. Just look up and then look back down. And I was really happy with that. I did not expect to be able to do that. So my goal of 3,000 words, I almost broke it on that one day. And it went really well. It went really well. So I did the laundry, so that I had to get up every now and then to like fold laundry and things like that. But
actually, I find that when I'm writing at home, anyways, that it really helps to have some reason to get up. Otherwise, you sit at the desk in front of the computer for hours on end, and your body just gets all sore or whatever, and you slowly lose your steam. But if you got to get up every now and then, it gives you a nice break. So.
Well, now you say that because I actually wrote in the outline here that most of the time when I'm at a restaurant, I'm basically looking to the end of the chapter, and that's when I'm going to go home. Or maybe I'm going to write a quick chapter, then I'll do another one, and then I'm going to go home. But it's always the end of the chapters when I'm ready to leave. But at home, I'm already home. So maybe you're saying that like, well, okay, like I did a chapter. I went and folded laundry, came back 10 minutes later and sat back down and did some more where if I was at a restaurant, I would have came home. So there could be something to that. Absolutely.
Yeah. You would have come home and you have said, okay, I've done my writing for the day.
Right. Yeah. I did a chapter. I did a chapter. I did 1,600 words of a 1,500 goal. That's perfect. So but I ended up getting 27:39. I was very excited about that. And
I'm sure you, and even though you say that you go to places where, and you try to not to be a pest of yourself, always when you're there, at least in the back of my head would be, I'm taking up somebody's spot. I don't want to sit here too long. It's kind of weird,
It depends on the place, but that absolutely does.
Yeah.
Like sometimes if I'm sitting at like a Chick-fil-A on a Saturday and it starts to get busy, I'll think, okay, if there's no tables available and there's people in line, I should probably leave.
Right.
It doesn't happen very often, but it does come up. And then like when I go to Hothead, there's only about 7 or maybe 10 tables at Hothead. So if that were to get busy, I'd be like, well, I have to leave because I'm just taking up the table.
Our Chick-fil-A's are never that busy on the inside. I mean, there may be cars 50 deep on the outside, but they're not that busy on the inside. So.
Yeah, ours get busy right around lunchtime. It doesn't last very long, but it does happen. Yeah.
I don't think people want to walk that 50 feet or that 20 feet from their car to the Chick-fil-A restaurant in 110 degrees or whatever it is.
Let's not talk about that. We've been over 90 5 straight days now, 4 straight days, and it's been interesting up here. Anyway, so I was very happy with this. This was great. It basically reinforced the idea that I can do this at home when I want to, which is something that I can't do it every single time because, writing can be a bit of a lonely thing.
Right.
So luckily for me, I can, I can go to work 2 days a week and there's people there. And I can go to a restaurant maybe once or twice a week and there's people there. And I have my golf leagues and that kind of stuff. So it's not terrible, but I don't think I could just every weekend like I did last week and sit in this room through most of the day because I play my games back here too.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and you've always got Max.
Yeah, he's asleep on the. He could care less.
Not much company, eh?
No. And the only way I really get company from is if I go in and sit on. He sits on the couch more than I do. So
okay.
So anyway, in the evening, I played my football game. I ate some dinner, and then I went to bed early again because I was golfing the next day. So naturally, the same person on this, at the same course, swinging the same clubs, on the same wet ground, goes out and shoots a 93 the next day. Now, we did play from the blue tees. So again, it was like 700-800 yards farther. There's a couple holes that are a lot easier from the white tees, but still 14 strokes difference is so strange to me.
Right.
But
it wasn't as wet as the previous day. So
it was close. That place, I was surprised. We were cart path only when we first got there on Sunday. After it being 95 degrees on Saturday all day with no rain.
Wow.
And we were still cart path. And then we were on the 5th hole when the guy who runs the course drove over to us and he said, let's try something different. He's like, drive down the middle of the fairway as soon as you possibly can. Stay off the cart paths, stay off the rough. Just drive down the middle of the fairway. That seems to be the driest area. That's what we did. But, on the way home, I stopped and got my groceries like normal. Took Max to my mom and dad's. I got some Subway. Came home and I had to finally do something that I hate doing. I put it off all the time, and that is cut my grass. I absolutely hate it. And now it's 92 degrees outside. It only takes me. I always say 2.5 songs on Sirius XM 80s on 8. It only takes me about 10 minutes to cut my yard because I have such a small yard. But I did the side yard also, so that takes some extra time. I weed whack and blow all the grass off the driveways, the neighbor's driveway, and the sidewalk. So I was probably out there for about 25 minutes. So awful.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
how you do it.
You got to do that complete grooming at least once a year. So
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's awful. Anyway, so I came back here and did the same thing as the previous day. Now this one I was not there near as long. Um, I added 570 words to chapter 19, so I was getting closer to being done. But then I deleted the entire chapter 18 because I just didn't like the chapter. 836 words. So I did not count that. You know, we talked about that last
Right.
week. You know, do the minus? I didn't count that. I did add the new words um, for that one, and that was it. I did 570 words in that day. I don't know how long I wrote. I still have it open here. How long did I write? I'm not even sure. I wrote for about half an hour. It was a little bit later in the day, and I felt good about the fact that I was down to just having 4 chapters left, which was nice. But 2 straight days of writing at home has basically taught me 2 important things. Number 1, I can do it, which is great. And number 2, my words per hour will go down because of those distractions. I tried to okay, I'm gonna fold my laundry. It's gonna take 15 minutes. I'm not gonna count that 15 minutes, but now I'm estimating a little bit more than usual, and I'm probably gonna go down in my word. But I'm okay with that because I don't have the 20 minutes driving either back and forth when I go write, and I'm home when I'm done. I'm just home. It's like when I work from home. I shut my laptop. I'm already home. So I really like it. So I play my football game in the afternoon, and then nothing after that. And I just kind of relax until then. Monday, I'm back in the office. So coworker and myself, one of us, we try to be in the office at the same time. That's what the boss asked us. But one thing he did say to me a couple of months ago was Thursday is not necessarily our required day anymore. It's more of a preferred day. And since there's a baseball game tomorrow in the office, which is Thursday, him and I just decided there's not a baseball game in the office. There's a baseball game downtown, a couple blocks from the office, and traffic is a mess, and parking is really expensive. And we just don't like to be there when there's a baseball game. So we decided to work Monday, Tuesday this week in the office.
I enjoyed the image of the baseball game being in the office better.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I could probably work. Yeah, so we decided to go Monday, Tuesday, which was 2 days ago and yesterday.
This brings up an image. When my son was young, him and his friend, they would come over. His friend would come over, and they would play baseball using a squishy Nerf ball and a plastic bat. And the end of the hallway by the bedrooms would be where home plate was, and the pitching mound was in the living room. And they would be pitching down there, down the hallway. Now I've got this image in my head of somebody from the Guardians pitching a 100-mile-an-hour fastball down the hallway, and somebody right outside the bathrooms at your place, and then somebody opening a door just as the batter swings.
Yeah, yeah, it could work. We have a big open area. My desk could probably be like maybe third base. Like it could work.
Yeah.
It's so funny you say that because when I was a kid, I used to take a can koozie, this right, and I would fold up socks and put it inside, and then I would duct tape around it, and I would play catch back and forth with friends down the hall. We'd throw it as hard as we could because it wasn't going to hurt anything.
Yeah,
and
so it was interesting. It was interesting because they used this Nerf ball, and depending on how they squeezed it and deformed it, they could do a slider, they could do a curve, they could do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, they
did that for years. I'm not talking. I'm talking they're like 5, 6, 7 like that.
Right. Yeah. All right. So I'm in the office Monday now, which I normally wouldn't do, but again, we're doing Monday, Tuesday this week. And on the way there, I was talking to myself on the way to work. I was radio down, mute. I'm telling you, if you're ever struggling, just turn your radio down on your way to work. Talk to yourself for half an hour. It's great. So I was talking about myself. I have a character in book 2 who's going to be a suspect in book 9. We don't really meet her that well in book 2. I got to redo a little bit of that when I go to edit it. I was trying to figure out, why is she a suspect? Because she's not the guilty one. But I do want to I need a good reason why she becomes a good suspect. And I talked to myself until I came up with it. I got to work and jotted some notes down so I wouldn't forget. And then at lunch, I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do. I had a couple different options. I kind of considered starting book 9, plotting book 9, and just not even worrying about the last 4 chapters. But instead, I did open up book 8 and ended up writing one of those. It's from the serial killer's point of view. And those have been pretty short. So I was really surprised by the time I was done. I had 1,134 words in only 50 minutes, which worked out really well. It's a pretty good chapter. I'm really happy with it. And then in the evening, this is where I couldn't hear out of the right side of my head. So I texted you and said, we should wait a couple of days. And, I'm kind of glad we did because I got some more fun stuff to talk about. So Tuesday, I'm back in the office. Our golf league is Tuesday nights. It got canceled this week because there is an outing, 136 people. It's going to be 95 degrees. I'm very glad that we got canceled, and I am looking forward to talking to somebody who works at the course, who I know, someone who does, to ask them if anybody keeled over from heat stroke.
Yeah,
Holy
really.
cow. That had to be a 6-hour day and just awful. So I'm glad we were canceled. I did get an email from 100 Covers. I'm going to read it to you right now. I don't know if you're on their list or not.
No.
They've done my covers, so I'm on their list. So they wrote an email that says, later this week, I strongly suggest you register to attend John. I don't know how to say this. It's Tighe. Tighe.
Yeah. Tighe, probably.
Tighe. So I strongly suggest you register to attend John T's a presentation on how to create and train your own custom AI writing assistant. Now, I've said 1,000 times, I don't really want AI to write for me. I enjoy doing that. I use it for editing. I use it for plotting. But when I'm actually writing, I'm really not using it unless I'm asking it for words, synonyms, stuff like that. Different ways to say, emotional things I can't come up with. But in terms of the writing, that's on me. But I really was interested. It said, this is 100 Covers. As I've mentioned many times before, in many different places, I've always been skeptical that AI could be used without sacrificing quality, originality, and more when it comes to using it, to assist the writing process. But John is one of the main voices in the author community that's changing my mind. John will demonstrate how he has been able to not only improve his writing speed, but surprisingly improve the quantity of his writing as well as keep it all in his authentic voice. I don't like where this is going. I honestly don't. But I registered anyway.
Okay.
He has done this with a revolutionary approach to creating and training his own personal AI writing assistant. It's pretty damn cool, I must say, and its application goes way beyond just helping you write your next book. Click here to register. So I registered. It's tomorrow. It's at noon, and I'm working from home. So right at lunch, I can shut my laptop, open this up, and see what he has to say. I'm not interested in training it to write for me. I have no interest in that at all. But if there's anything in there about editing or plotting up, I'm happy to take a look at it. So.
Is it noon Eastern or?
Yeah, it's at 5. It's London, so it's 5 p.m. London, which is noon Eastern. That'd be 11 for you.
Yeah. Okay.
So I did register. I registered today for it. Got the link. So I'm going to take a look at it and see how it goes. Because I'm not interested in the writing part, but everything else I'm curious about. So.
Right.
At lunch yesterday.
When we're done here, why don't you shoot me that email? Because I may register for it too. I don't know if I'll be able to get off at 11 in order to watch it, but if I do, I might want to do that.
Let's see if I can do it right now. Here we go. How about that? And then hit send. Okay, so I think I might have just forwarded it to you just now. So.
Okay, great.
All right, so anyway, at lunch yesterday, I went to chapter 18. So I have 3 chapters left now. I went to chapter 18. I'm writing it, and I'm liking what I'm writing, but as I'm doing it, I'm just thinking, is anything really happening here? So I kicked around a few things as I'm writing it and came up with what I wanted to do. But since I only had my lunch break and it was getting close to 1 o'clock, I didn't actually have the time to make those changes to do what I wanted to do. So I made some notes at the beginning of it and at the end of it, how I wanted it to end especially, and then went back to work. Overall, it was 1,001 new words over about 50 minutes, which is what got me to the 5,444, I think it was, for the last 6 days, for the week, basically. Very happy about that. And the funny thing is I made those notes. And now will I go back and finish that chapter tomorrow? Actually, it won't be tomorrow. Will it be tomorrow? Maybe tomorrow. Or will I go on? No, it can't be tomorrow. Or will I go on to the next chapter and worry about that when I edit? Because that's how I've done a lot of these first drafts. Is I thought, I'll have to make this note and then I'll come back to it. And I'm just thinking, I'll just come back to it when I go to edit. Yeah. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But I am going to. That chapter needs a lot of work. So. And then today happened, and you can already see the note there in the outline. For today, where a buddy of mine called me yesterday and said, so are we going to Vegas in August for the Fantasy Football Drafts? And I said, no, dude, not going to Vegas. I didn't go last year. I was going to come back this year, but I'm not going this year. I need to pay off this car and pay off my house. I'm not going. I said, okay, no problem. So then today I'm talking to a guy I work with. We're just talking about vacations. And I'm like, oh, you're not going to see me on any Fridays and our stand-up meetings the rest of the year because I'm going to be half days. Our stand-up meetings are in the afternoon. I'm going to miss them all. We're talking about his vacations, and I usually go to Vegas, but I haven't gone in a year and a half. I'm not going this year. I said, oh, okay, that's cool. So then lunchtime hits, and I just out of nowhere just said, yeah, I'm going to Vegas. I don't know if it was in my head. So I had a couple of things happen financially and a couple of things happen time-wise and vacation-wise, and it all kind of fell together. I emailed the guy who runs the fantasy league since I put me in these 2 drafts, one Friday and one Saturday. And then I started looking at flights and looking at the hotel. The hotel's going to be nothing. I mean, I'm probably going to stay in New York. And they're going to give me 4 free nights even over the weekend. They're going to give me $100 in food credit and like $85 in slot credit and all this stuff to go. And then I'll do my drafts. I'll probably be gone in the weekend of Labor Day. I'll be back by before Labor Day.
See,
Yeah,
all these people mentioning Vegas to you and then me talking about the cake machines at Vegas, it just, the universe is giving you a message, Jerry.
I don't know if the universe gave me a message as much as you guys just kept drilling it into my head before I went, okay, I'll go. Damn it, I'll go. Yeah, so I didn't do any writing today at all. I did have the canine paw spa lady came at 12:30 and gave Max a bath. And I was playing my football game. No, I played my football game a little bit. No, I didn't play at lunch. What did I do at lunch? Nothing. Yeah, I don't think I did anything at lunch. So
I'll tell you what, Max has got to be one of the cleanest dogs around. Sounds like he gets a bath towel every 2-3 weeks.
It's surprisingly it's every 6.
Oh, is it?
But 2 weeks from today, he's going into the vet and he's getting his teeth pulled. Okay. So he's gonna be looking sparkly after that, which is good. All right. So yeah, I've decided to go ahead and go to Vegas, and I still have a plan to pay off my car. I still have a plan to meet my financial goals that I set in this podcast at the end of the year. I think I can still do it, even though I'm going to spend $2,800 on 2 fantasy teams and $500 on a flight, and probably gamble another $1,500 or so in Vegas. But I'm pretty sure I can still do it based on a few things that have happened over the last 6 months money-wise for me. So,
well, good deal.
So it should work out.
Yeah. I take it since you haven't mentioned the story Bible that you didn't look at it.
Oh, I did. I actually put it. Did I put it in the stuff to share?
Oh, maybe. Okay. We'll talk about it later.
I think I put it in the stuff to share. Let me make sure. Because if not, I didn't put it in the stuff to share. Yeah, let's talk about it then. Okay. I will say that I have not, I looked through it, but I did not go page by page, word by word. I got an idea of what she did. I really love the fact that she found inconsistencies in book 1, and I'm definitely going to go back and fix some or all of those, and I'm going to republish it, because when book 2 comes out, I think it's a really good time for me to go to republish it anyway. So I'm going to do that. I love, she found for Sam, apparently in book 1, I had him allergic to dust. I completely didn't realize this and forgot about it. But what I love about it now is when I get to the later books, if he's ever kind of hiding or whatever, and in fact, in book 2, there's a spot where he does hide, I can pull that out and make that a thing. So I haven't looked through every piece yet. I'm going to do that once I get book 8 done. I'm going to go through and start moving into codex, things like that. But I love what she did. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I liked it. What was interesting to me is I went into looking at it thinking that, okay, I'm going to see if I can tell if she used AI to do any of this. And I really couldn't tell. I mean, it kind of sounded like she actually did read through it. Now, maybe she may have used AI to, you could, for example, you could have asked the question, what are some inconsistencies in what Sam is doing or whatever. And it will give you some ideas. Then you can go back and you could read those sections and, see if that's true or not, or how you interpret them. But I don't think she did that. I think she actually read it.
I can guarantee she read it, Rich, for one reason.
What's that?
Because I don't know, is it in the email? No. So it's in the actual story Bible. I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
But she figured out an Easter egg that I put in there that makes it really easy to figure out who the murderer is.
Oh.
That not a single person has said to me until she did.
Oh, okay.
And it's because she was paying attention the way she was paying attention, where I don't want to get into it too much, but it's one of the characters says a certain thing as the murderer in chapter 1. He or she says this. And then later on in the book, that character says it one more time to Sam. And he says it in a certain way, or she says it in a certain way. In fact, there's a he and a she. And in a certain way that if you're paying attention, you're like, wait, I've only heard that one other time, and it was in chapter 1. So she caught that. No one else has caught that.
Oh, nice.
And I love it. Yeah. So I know she read it. Yeah. I wrote back to her and said, that is so amazing that you saw that, because no one has seen that. And she wrote back, I'm so happy that I saw something that no one else found. So I was very happy about it.
Yeah, that's great. So. Well, my week, starting last Friday anyways, was worked out.
Overall, do you think it was worth, I don't know how you say was it, to me it was worth the $400 because of what I got back, but I don't know what would you have expected more, less? I feel like I got way more than I expected.
No, I mean, for somebody to read your book in depth enough in order to be able to pick out inconsistencies and to then take the time also to jot down the plot and the timeline and all that kind of stuff and the characters and their attributes, that's a lot of work. I don't know how long she actually took to do it, but I can't see, to actually read that book would probably take even a fast reader, 4 or 5 hours, probably. Maybe not quite that much. And then to do all the work on top of that, she probably put in 25, 30 hours at least. So yeah, it was, I think you paid $400, you said, something like that. Yeah. So, you paid, say, maybe $15 an hour. That's a good deal.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you'd have to do it. And I guarantee it'd probably take you 3 or 4 times as long because you'd get bored.
100%. I also wouldn't have done as much detail as she did. I would have done as much detail she did on the first character, like Sam, and then after that, it got worse and worse as I went along.
Yeah, it would be like, oh, I'll remember that. I don't have to put that down. Yeah.
So I'm happy about it.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was worth it. All right, my weekly review. Last Friday, I was a work day at the library, and what little free time I did have, I tried to time block my week. I'm still on this idea that I can force planning on myself. I don't know why I keep on getting on this idea because it's just not true. I can't do it. But I do write a little bit better when I do have times blocked out to do it. But I realized as I was trying to do it, I spent most of the day, time blocking a typical week in between doing it, whatever else I was doing. I just finally realized, my workplace is just too chaotic. I can't count on having certain hours free. I can't count on people being there when they're supposed to be. My supervisor personally resists any idea of trying to enforce schedules on people at all, which is really weird for a supervisor, but that's just the way she is. She's like really ADHD and OCD and everything else along top of that. And I haven't gotten a good routine for going to the gym or anything. So I don't know what I'm going to do about this, but I just kind of threw up my hands, and instead I downloaded a schedule for weightlifting on only 30 minutes a day. I still haven't gotten to the gym. My intention was to start right away, but I had been just making up my weightlifting schedule, but even that becomes a load on your brain after a while. So I'm just going to try to follow this guy's schedule and see what happens. Because I knew this was going to be a short work week for me, I decided I'm going to wait till next Monday and start this, just because then I will have 6 days in a row where I can actually do it. And actually, no, I won't. Now that I think about it, because July 4th is next week.
Oh, yeah.
A week after this one coming up. So, no, it's just next week. Yeah. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Anyways, I wasted Friday. I guess it's a long way of saying I wasted Friday. Saturday, this was a really strange day. We had patrons coming in groups at random times. So we would be really down, not doing much of anything. And then we'd just be crushed with people. It's just hard to keep up with the demand. And I had to spend most of my time working at the desk. But somehow, in those little bits of time that I did have, I did manage to write that 1,251 words, which made me really happy because I really didn't think I'd get anything done when that day started off the way it did. When I got home that night, I think I just started reading a little bit. I've been kind of collecting books that I want to read.
Was it all in one chunk, or was it like I read 50 words here, 100 words here?
Yeah, it was broken up.
That's so
probably
impressive.
two or three chunks, probably. So it wasn't terrible. It wasn't like writing 50 words at a time. You could still keep the train of thought. Sunday, this was a day I had off, but I've had such a frantic and hectic time the last month or so with traveling and everything else. I just kind of collapsed on Sunday. I didn't do anything. I didn't even go to church, which was unusual. I didn't go outside. I did nothing but sit around and read. And I actually took 2 naps for a total of almost 4 hours. So that was kind of nice too. So I guess I was also kind of worn out and tired. In terms of reading, I'm still working on that Echoes of Old Books novel that I've started. It's getting weirder and weirder as we go on. And I started a nonfiction one by Ryan Holiday of Stoicism fame on YouTube called Stillness is the Key. And that's the one I kind of alluded to earlier. I can't remember if it was on or off air, but yeah, the idea that, you got to make quiet time in your life if you really want to get anything done. That kind of dovetails with the Cal Newport idea of concentrated, deep work and not trying to multitask. So I started that. He's a good writer, but like a lot of those nonfiction books, you wonder how much you're really gaining from it by reading it. Monday, I worked all day and did no writing at all, although I did do some reading in between patrons being at the desk. I also spent some quality time with the branch manager, which I haven't done a whole lot of since she moved there at the beginning of the year. We were sitting in the lunchroom, and she doesn't usually come in there at lunch, but she did, and I was the only one went in there. And she's a really interesting person. She's a native of Louisiana, and I tell you what, even with our age differences, she's just a huge flirt. And I've seen her do it with just like everybody. It's just the way she is around men. And which probably explains why she's married to an older man with a teenage son. I think she's something like 30 only. And he's a good deal older than she is. But yeah, one day I'm going to ask her what happened there, but I'm not quite at the point where I think I can do that. I will at some point, because I get like that with everybody. If I just don't care at some point. Besides, if I wait long enough, she's likely to volunteer the information, because although she's very reticent when you're kind of out in the library and stuff, if you get her sat down in a corner someplace, she just talks nonstop. So yeah.
Let me quickly just show you. I just pulled up one of the few nonfiction self-helpy type books that I actually have taken stuff from. Because I'm not that person either. This is it right here. I'm going to show it on camera. This is it right here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I love this book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F, by Mark Manson. It's one of my favorite books of all time.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, I won't be surprised if some of these stories I'm hearing from not only her, but some of the other young librarians about their lives and the things that they do, some of that's going to end up in books. It's just too good. I mean, I remember, as they're talking, I remember having those same kinds of experiences when I was young, but if I'm just sitting by myself, I don't remember that stuff. Probably for good reason. It's probably a safety measure of some kind. Tuesday, I had the morning off, but I didn't make any good use of it at all. I slept in an extra hour, which I guess is good use, and I also made a big breakfast, which also is a good use in some sense. I've been nursing a bunch of houseplants. I think I may have mentioned this. The branch manager had rescued them from a friend of hers who was moving, and they didn't have room in their truck for it. So I brought them home, and my wife and I have been nursing them along, trying to get them back to looking halfway decent. One of them was a money tree, or Chef Lara is the real name of it. And we took it from looking sick and yellow to where it's big and bushy now. It stands about 4 foot tall with these big fronds that go off to the side. So the idea was I agreed that my branch manager, I agreed that with her that I would kind of try to rehabilitate these plants and then bring them back into the library to try to, she said, how'd she put it? Something along the lines of class the place up a little bit or something. Right. So I brought that first one in on Tuesday. It looks really good where I put it, kind of is by the entrance. And I swear it wasn't up for more than 5 minutes before a patron, and I was still watering and misting it and stuff, where a patron stopped me and said, I got one of those plants that looks like hell at home. How'd you get it to look so good? So I spent 5 minutes talking to her about how to do it. So if I'm careful, I may be able to work this into a full-time horticultural job at the library instead of having to deal with patrons and books and stuff. I just go around every day, nursing the plants and talking to people about them.
Become the landscaper.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I do. That revolves being outdoors, which in Louisiana, you don't want to be a landscaper.
Good point.
The rest of the day was uneventful. Although I did have to work the 6 to 9 p.m. slot by myself because the moonlighter took his family, who's usually with me, took his family to Oklahoma for a vacation. But it wasn't really too busy. Once or twice I got pretty hectic, but not generally. I just read some more of the books I was reading. And that holiday book about stillness being the key. I'm halfway through the book now, and I'm really convinced, I need more of that in my life, because with my ADHD and everything else, I just don't have time where I can just sit and focus. And that's really what I need to find a way to get to, really, if I really want to do more serious writing. Um, today was interesting. 5 people were scheduled to work. Wednesdays are the days where we usually have a full complement. I was counting on writing a lot today. Of course, 2 people called in sick. So other than lunch, I was stuck on the desk all day. So instead of trying to write in between interruptions, and there was a ton of them today, I just decided to read. And again, I bounced back and forth between the Echoes and the Stillness book. They're very different books. Obviously, one's fiction, one's nonfiction, but the writing styles are different. And I find I get if I start to get bored with one, if I flip over to the other one, read a few chapters, I can then flip back. And that Echoes book, I'm about halfway through that too, but I have to kind of pick up the pace because that's our book club book. And it won't be this coming week, but the week after is when we're going to be meeting. So I got to get that thing done. And now we're recording, and afterwards I'll grab some dinner. I'm probably going to work on a puzzle. We got a puzzle that's about 2/3 done over there in the living room, and try to get that thing knocked out. Problem with having a puzzle exchange now at the library is I walk by it every single day I'm working. I go, ooh, that's a good puzzle, and I grab it and I bring it home. So we've got all these puzzles stacking up at home.
The library has puzzles?
Yeah, we're doing the puzzle exchange. Basically,
that's right. You talked about that.
Yeah, we start off with a bunch of puzzles, and then people bring puzzles. Just by the way,
leave a puzzle.
Yeah, but by the way the collection is growing, people are bringing in more puzzles than what they're taking.
Okay.
So yeah,
you're like, finally a place I can unload this thing.
Exactly. You feel bad about throwing a puzzle out after only doing it once, but you oftentimes don't want to do it again.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good place for them to bring it back. So overall, the week was not very good in terms of writing. I only got 1,200 words. I wanted to get 3,000, even though I'm not supposed to be setting goals because I'm supposed to be on a sabbatical from setting goals and writing. But yeah, that's what happened, and we'll see what happens coming up. There's 2 things on my running list of future things to do. One I crossed off because I actually finished it. I cleaned up and organized all my computer files. So things are not spread out all over the place through all different kinds of directories. I can now go right to different stories I've written that I want to, partial drafts or whatever. I know where they're at and get access to them right away. I'm also I have to plan a trip to Michigan coming up here sometime soon because I got to take my mother, who lives on the east side of the state, over to see my son and daughter-in-law on the west side of the state, who are I wrote this on Monday. So as of Monday evening, they were now residents of Michigan because they had flown out from Los Angeles. Their car actually got delivered to them today, and I think all their stuff is supposed to show up on Saturday. So sometime in August, I'm going to be doing that.
Well, since you added plan a trip to, I just added plan a trip to mine, which is plan a trip to Vegas. So I'm excited about that. I also was again listening to James Blash and Kara Claire's podcast, the Indie Writers Club, and Kara mentioned that a friend of hers had gone to ChatGPT and asked her to email her herself a marketing plan every Monday. And I'm sure there's more to it than that. She probably gave it a whole bunch of details, things like that. I didn't know that you could have ChatGPT do that. And now I want ChatGPT to do that for me. I don't know what I want it to be, but I don't have a marketing plan yet because I don't have books to market. I'm not there yet. But I do want it to just email me something on Monday's author related. I have no idea what. I just think it's kind of fun. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Yeah, I didn't realize it would send you emails either. I'll have to try that out just for fun to see how it works.
Yeah.
I knew it would do all kinds of marketing things because that's one thing that a lot of people are using it for, who are against using AI of any kind in order to actually do the writing. They don't have any trouble with it writing their blurbs and things like that. So,
so it's very strange. Let's see. So in terms of my addicted to, I got nothing. I tried to come up with something Monday. I tried to come up with something today. Really nothing in terms of music, TV, food. Nothing out of the ordinary for me that I've been watching or not watching. I've been watching Andy Griffith a little bit more lately because it's good. It's good. I mean, I've seen them all so many times that I can recite them word for word as long as it's black and white. Once it goes to color, I don't care anymore. And rumor is that while I was being born, my dad was watching Andy Griffith in the hospital waiting room, so maybe that's why I like it so much. But there's really not much of anything. Maybe you could put the '80s music on there that I listen to now while I'm writing at home, but really nothing going on in terms of addicted to that I would actually put on this list.
Yeah, that was back in the days when husbands weren't allowed in the birthing rooms like they are now. So I tell you what, I wish when my son was born that I wasn't allowed in the birthing room. I still have PTSD from that experience. My addicted to, well, the latest one has been fresh picked blueberries on vanilla bean ice cream. Because all our blueberries were coming in, and when we got back from California, we got a ton of them, about a gallon, I think my wife picked. But they're pretty much finished now, and I'm starting to wonder if, what the next one's going to be, and wonder if I need to be more intentional about my addictions. I should probably think, okay, what kind of addiction would I like to have and keep going for over a number of weeks, and then just start doing it. I don't know what that is yet, though.
Yeah, that's a great idea, actually. Yeah. All right, so coming up this week for me, I have a word count down. I mean, we're gonna go until Monday, so this is gonna be about the next 5 days. I have a word count in here for certain days, but really, at some point, I'm gonna finish the first draft, and that word count won't matter anymore. So the word count, if I set one for like Friday, it may not happen because maybe I finish it Friday, or if I set one for Sunday, so I'm not gonna really deal with that too much. Tomorrow, I work from home. I do have in here that I'll try to write, but that was before I signed up for that seminar at noon. So I won't actually do any writing. I do have 2 chapters left, 20 and 21. And I like 21, but I don't like 20. I don't like what I wrote in there. But I do think it works in the book. It just doesn't work at chapter 20. So I may move it around a little bit and see if I can make it work a little bit more. It's supposed to amp up the tension a little bit. But where it's at, I don't think it's the right place for it. So I might move it a couple chapters earlier and see if I can make it make sense. So I just have 20 and 21 left. Friday, I'm doing a half a day. So around 11 o'clock, I'll probably head out on Friday and try to get 1,500 words. And I'll also try to finish the first draft on this day. So I'll try to write those 2 chapters. One of them is short. The other one, I'm not sure. So if I can get 1,500 words out of those 2 chapters, I think I'll be in good shape, and I haven't finished. Saturday and Sunday, both days I golf. I have tee times at 6:40 a.m. both days. And then after that, I'll either come home or I'll come home and I'll either go somewhere or I'll just stay here and try to, because I'm going to start plotting most likely. I might still be writing if I don't finish it on Friday, but either way, I'm going to come home. If I go somewhere on Friday, I may try to stay home again on Saturday and Sunday and see how that goes. But really, I have 2 things I want to work on now over the next couple of weeks after I finish book 8, and that is plotting book 9, obviously. And the second thing is I want to take the story Bible and I want to start putting it into the places I want it to be. I use Scrivener as a backup right now where I have everything listed. I just want to create a nice formatted 1-page document that has everything from the 20 some odd pages or 30 pages, whatever it was she gave back to me. So that's going to take a lot of time to format because the way she put it into a table form, I didn't really like that. I wish it would more of a paragraph form with headings and boldface, things like that.
Right.
But I can move that around. That's no big deal.
Yeah.
But then I do want to start creating codexes in Novel Crafter for each of these characters. I do have most of the codexes created, but I want all the descriptions and stuff that she has in there. I want that stuff into Novel Crafter. So
okay, here's what you need to try. You need to try giving that information the way she's got it to Chat GPT and tell it, convert this to a paragraph narrative style for me.
Yes, I didn't think of that. That's brilliant. I did not think of that. And that is what I will be doing.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll work, but it should work. I think it will.
Well, it might give me something that's a little more formatted that all I have to do is make a couple small changes.
Right.
So even if I go like character by character, paste it in there, and then say, give me this. I could even say, here it is. Here's the template that I want you to follow, and see if it'll spit it out that way.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah, so that's a good idea. So I'll definitely start doing that this weekend also. And there's a lot of stuff in there, and it's more than what I expected, which makes me happy. I'm glad she gave me more than what I expected, but now I gotta have to format it and get into the places where I want to use it. On Saturday, I'll do my non-grocery errands, which I don't really have any as of now, and then Sunday I'll go to the grocery store. And then Monday, we're back to a normal week, although we are off on Friday for the 4th of July. But in terms of normal, I have my golf league Tuesday. I'll be in the office Tuesday and Thursday. So Monday, I will be working from home, and I won't be doing any writing on this day or plotting on this day during lunch because I'm dropping my car off at the dealer for service. There's nothing wrong with the passenger side front turn signal. It's an LED light I think is going bad. I also have a recall from a few months ago that I had been avoiding because it's a federal law that when you have an electric car, if you get below 25 miles an hour, it makes a noise to let pedestrians know that you're there because it doesn't make any noise.
Right.
The noise my car makes is this horrible whiny sound, and apparently the recall is there because the sound isn't loud enough.
Oh,
I hate the sound anyway. So I've been kind of purposely avoiding that. But I asked them to take a look at that too while they have it. So I'll take it in. And they actually said they're going to give me an electric rental, which is kind of cool. I hope they give me a Blazer, or I hope they give me a Cadillac. I really do.
Oh, that would be good.
Nice.
I bet you there are aftermarket parts to change that sound to whatever you want. You know, it would be great. It would be great to change it to a voice saying, "Stand back, please. Nothing to see here."
Nothing to see here. Leslie Nielsen from Police Squad. Nothing to see here. Actually, I would change it to a TIE fighter. And I would just make it go the entire, I don't care what speed I was going. The faster I was going, the louder it was. I love the idea of changing it to a TIE fighter. Yeah. So, and then my goal, again, I'm not going to do a word count goal this week, but instead the goal is to finish the first draft of book 8 between now and when we talk Monday night. And again, that's with no writing tomorrow and no writing on Monday. So really it's just Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the 3 non-work days that I'll be able to write. So I should have a lot of time to get book 8 finished. Again, only 2 chapters. So I should be able to finish it probably Friday.
Well, it's going to be a short week again, like you said, so we record. But in that time on Thursday, tomorrow, I have a normal 9 to 6 work day. Normally, because we're supposed to have a full complement of people, I would think I'd have some writing time. But given what happened today, I'm not counting on it. So if I do have any time off, I will attempt to do some writing. And when I'm at the desk, I'm going to continue reading. I'm finding the reading goes really well while you're at the desk. You can do a lot of reading, mainly because I can bring it up on the screen that's in front of me, and people don't necessarily know you're reading. You know, you're looking at.
Oh, you're not like doing it on your phone, like down below the desk. You're actually putting it on the screen.
Right.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, okay. I use the Kindle app.
Yeah,
and you can read it right there. And then when somebody comes up, you just kind of flip to a different tab, and you don't have to worry about it. Friday through Sunday, I have a long weekend off this week. There's going to be no way I can spend the whole day outside those days, because once you hit about 11 or 12 o'clock here, it just becomes unbearably hot. And so I'm going to try to get up really early on those days at dawn and do whatever I want to do outside as early as I can, and then knock off around noon. Right now, they're calling for thunderstorms starting Friday evening. So although I had plans of doing some more of the path for my wife and laying more cement, I may only be able to do that on Friday morning. Other than that, I'm going to just maybe form up some raised beds if it does rain a lot, because I have a bunch of 4x4s that I trash picked from somebody who is getting rid of an old fence. And in the afternoons, right now I got plans to write and see what happens. See if I do mean it, but we'll see. You know, hope is the thing with feathers. You know, so. Right. Monday, I'm back at work, and it's hard to say if everyone's going to show up because it's a holiday week. But I do hope to jam in a little bit of writing if I can on that day. So if I'm lucky, I'll have 3 or 4 afternoons of writing. And since I'm supposed to be on a writing sabbatical, I shouldn't set a goal, but I couldn't help myself. I'll try for 3,000 words and see if I can actually get there.
There'll just be no reporting on Monday whether you passed or failed. There'll be reporting on a number.
That
way it's not an actual goal. This is just what you did.
That's right. You know, I was just walking along. I saw this number. I decided to pick it up and take it home.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Exactly. And other than that, I don't have anything else to share.
So I have 2 things that I actually finished over the weekend. The first one is the book for our book club. It's The Guest List by Lucy Foley. I don't know if you read it or not. You should read it.
I haven't read it, but yeah. Do you recommend it?
It's different. I didn't know at first whether I would like it. The only real negatives I would give to it is I don't like that they put on the cover, readers of Agatha Christie will love this, because it is not an Agatha Christie murder mystery. We don't figure out who the body is until about 82% of the way through. And in the very next chapter, you figure out they basically just show you who did it. And really what it is, it's more of a suspense. A thriller, where, you know, it says chapter 1 says now, and it gives you're at the wedding night and the lights go out. And then the next chapter, you go back about 36 hours to the previous morning, I think it is. And then for the next 20 chapters, you build up, and then you go to now for maybe 1 or 2 chapters. Then you go back again. And really all those chapters there that are coming, they're all coming toward the now part.
Right.
So it's almost like flash forwarding and not flashback. She just used the word now instead of some other way to do it, which I don't know.
Right. You know, it occurs to me, I wonder if she actually wrote it that way originally and submitted it, and the editors at the house that she is publishing it under said to her, nobody's going to stick with this for 20 some chapters before you get to what's happening. You got to put something up front. So,
it's very possible. Yeah, it's definitely possible. I didn't know there were also like the first 6 chapters are 6 different point of view characters, and you get that many. And I didn't know at the time Will I liked it, but as it went on, even though I like in my head I would probably say out loud, I'm not sure if I like this, but in my head it's like I need to know what's gonna happen next.
Right.
So I was definitely liking it for whatever reason. I didn't know that it was weird.
Right. I've read some books recently. I can't remember what they are, but it was like that. Maybe not 6, but it was like 3 or 4. And you come to Richard Osman's chapters are like that sometimes. Or his books. You get to the end of a chapter of a character and there's like a cliffhanger, and you turn the page and go, oh, we're going somewhere else, or we're going to some other character.
Well, the way she did it worked because at the end of one chapter, it would like lead into that character who was going to be the next chapter. So the way it happened really worked. It also really all she did was, it's like she did it in like a reverse. Like you could have given me the body in chapter, you could have probably rearranged it where you got the body in like chapter 3 or chapter 1, and then spent the next do everything you're doing. And then because all she really did was build up the motives for all these point of view characters to kill this person. And then when you get to like near the end and you reveal who did it, that could have been, there's actually a red herring in there of who you think might have done it. But then the next chapter you realize it was this person. I do think that it could have been an old school murder mystery with, there's no detective, you get there's no main character.
Right.
So it was, I really did like it. I would recommend it, but just don't, when you see Agatha Christie's name on the cover, it's not like that.
I never look at that stuff. I would say
it's more like a, man, I couldn't even, it's almost like a, I don't want to use the word cozy, but I would almost say it's like a cozy suspense, if that's a such thing. Although there's lots and lots of swearing, there's sex like crazy, there's a lot of drug use. I mean, it's a hardcore, whatever, I don't know what word I'm looking for, book, but it's not like super suspenseful. She also does a really good job of ramping up the tension all the way through, where you're like, okay, the next chapter better have something. It doesn't. Okay, that was good. The next chapter better, and it did. And eventually you get to the point where it's like, okay, I got something.
Yeah.
I did write down at the 56% mark. Yeah, I wrote down. I was listening to the audio portion of it at work, and I wrote down at the 56% mark who I thought did it, and I was very, very close. But I was wrong.
That's good. Yeah, I never look at that stuff that's on the cover because I figure it's put there by marketing people who never read the book anyways.
I would. You're probably right. Yeah. So that's one. So I finished that week, and I also finished the Agatha Christie BBC writing course that that they put together using. They kept saying AI. I don't think they use AI. I think they use CGI because they just sat an actress down who was an older woman, and they kind of CGI'd Agatha Christie's face, and then they used the actress's voice. And they really didn't do much except switch angle from over here, then you're looking at her here, then you're far away here. But it's really just her talking, sitting at a desk the whole time. And I think I talked about this before, where I did not expect to get anything out of this, because this is like those master classes with who's the Dan Brown? He did one.
Right.
No, was it James Patterson did one? And you listen to them talk about their way that they write, and it's like, I'm nothing like you. You're not giving me much, and the stuff you are giving me, I'm not going to use because I'm nothing like you.
Yeah.
And that's how I thought this one was going to be. And then about halfway through, she started getting into the specifics of how she handles clues and how she handles settings and resolution. And there's a lot of stuff in there that I thought was pretty interesting. It is something, there are things I could take away. I'm going to go through at some point soon and watch them again and actually take notes this time, because it really was interesting. I don't know if it was worth, I don't know if other people would find it worth the $80 that I spent. I can't remember if it was $79 or $89. I think it was $80. I think it was $79. I might be $89. But just being a huge fan of Agatha Christie, I really enjoyed learning about her. And she talked about how, her first book was a dare by her sister to write a mystery, and that's what turned into the mysterious affair Styles. And I've read all the books and seen all the TV shows, so a lot of stuff she talked about, I knew what she was talking about. I did enjoy that part of it, but then it got to this last half, the second half of it, probably the last hour and 15, and really getting into specific topics I thought was really interesting. So I would recommend it if you were okay spending the money on it. I would recommend it.
Actually, this kind of raises a question in the back of my head of, did Agatha Christie write much about how she wrote and how she manipulated clues and stuff like that? And if she didn't, where are they getting this from?
So one of the things they said at the very beginning was that the estate, which is the grandson, said that he was okay with them doing this, but they were only allowed to use her words. They could not use anybody else's words. They could not
Okay,
make
so it
stuff
must
up.
be
It
out there
had to be her
someplace.
words. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully it's not just in private letters and stuff. So conceptually, you could actually, there may be a book out there of how Agatha Christie wrote. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to look for that.
So it was interesting. I would recommend that also if you wanted to spend the money. I wouldn't say, $80 or $90 could be a lot of money for someone. I really like Agatha Christie, so I was okay with it. But if you're looking to just be like, oh, I'm going to learn how to write murder mysteries, this isn't going to do it for you. This is more of how she does it. And if you're a big fan and you're really interested in that stuff like I am, then it was good.
Yeah. Great.
All right. So that's going to be it for the podcast. You have anything else?
No, I'm done.
Yep, I also don't have anything else. So if you want to get in touch with me, you can email me, jerry@jerryevanoff.com. The website is jerryevanoff.com. We're on YouTube. If you're listening, youtube.com/@newauthorpodcast. If you're watching on YouTube and you want to download it to listen some other time, just search your favorite podcasting app for New Author Podcast.
Yeah, you can get a hold of me at rich@richkacy.com, or I can be found on Blue Sky at Kacy himself.
All right, that's going to be it for this week, everyone. We will be back on Monday, June 30th, I believe it is. And we'll get back onto our normal schedule here of Mondays. So thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah, have a good weekend.